yourself.
Gracias por introducirse.
So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, I'm more than happy to do that. I am an organizer. I've been organizing for over 15 years and some. I actually started organizing before I started working for an organization. I have fought in many, many struggles. I have been on the picket line. Some of you know me just from walking on the picket line with 217. I've been around for a very, very long time, fighting for workers' rights, fighting for immigrant rights, fighting for any rights, just fighting, and fighting for the people. I have an idea what people's interest is, what they care about, simply because I've presented myself in the field to be able to find those things out from the people. I'm a grandmother, and right now I just became a great-grandmother. So, yes, thank you. So, you know, the energy, you know, is still there. I've always known that I was a servant of the people. I've always known that. Nothing gives me more joy than be able to work with people, to help people, to fight for what's right for people. Like I said, I've been organized for 15 years. I've organized under an organization, but I also have organized within the community without pay. You know, so, you know, this is in my blood. I will fight for the rights until I guess I can't fight anymore. Am I talking too fast?
No, that's good. I'm just simultaneously. It's easier.
Okay. So as a group, we've come up with some questions, and there's other questions I'm sure that are out there. Our first question would be, who would you support as a city council president?
I've been asked that question over and over and have not given it much thought. To be honest with you, I have not thought about it. Of course, everybody knows that, know me or know that I've been in a struggle for a very long time, that I have a relationship with Aponte. You know, I've had a relationship with him for a very long time. There is other people that are, you know, running that position, I know that. I haven't took the time really to find out what they stand for and whether they even match my morals or my values and what is right for people and how it would be able to help us be able to move things forward. So I have to apologize. I haven't put a lot of thought into that, and I'm being, you know, frank. It's just like, yeah, I should be doing some research and finding out exactly, you know.
So you're looking for someone who matches what the breaker or the maker of this would be someone who matches your goals and your policies.
Well, our goals and our policies. I am also a worker. I'm also, and I've been a low-wage worker for many, many years. So I know that it has to take people who care about the people enough to know that big business and corporations should not rule over people. So I haven't had that time to even sit down and question any of the city councils who approach me about being council president to find out what is their morals, what do they believe in. Because some people believe in growing the city and leaving the rest of us behind. I'm not exactly sure whether that's my, you know, I just don't gel really well with that, you know, and I know there is going to be a time when I have to try to figure all of that out. But with the people's help, I hope to do that.
Will you support, and when I say support, you know, we're talking about someone, you need somebody that's going to fight for us like a badger. Would you fight like a badger to help us and stop the tax break that the Renaissance Hotel received?
Absolutely. I've been fighting for like 6-7 years, you know, pushing back on the tax breaks. Simply because, for number one, I never could understand it from the very beginning. Why would they need a substance? Why would they need welfare? Why would they need these, you know, when they're corporations, they're big business? I never figured out the moral behind it. Absolutely, I would fight. Not only would I fight, I would lobby as many people as I can. I would try to, you know, communicate with as many people as I can. Try to educate people according to what they need to know in order to see, you know, to say, not just voting on it. but to also work one-on-one to advocate for the half of the people.
Now, what
The
happens?
other city councils, that is, to try to get them convinced as well that this is important, that we stick together and push against this.
Now, what happens when you come out with that, and the business community comes out against you as being anti-business? How would you handle that?
Well, you know,
Because they will be.
of course they will, of course they will. There's a balance, there's fairness. What we are asking for is not so much as business shouldn't, be being able to sustain, a business shouldn't be able to exist. What we are asking for is a piece of the rock, a piece of the crumb, piece of the pie. Because as, you know, the best way you can look at it, or the best way you can talk about it, is that families need to be able to survive without having to struggle for, 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to make it. So, I mean, again, it's educating them around who I am, what my low wage work have caused me to have to struggle, how it has made me feel as a worker, how it has sometimes pushed me out of jobs because of the fact that they don't care. So again, it's about education, it's about communicating. It's not that I'm anti-business or whatever. We do believe that we want to see the city grow so we can have jobs being in particular spaces. But however, we also don't want to be, you know what I mean? We don't want to be left on. It's fairness. It's all about fairness. That's what I say.
So, I'm sure you know who we are, but here's just a handout of some of the things that we've done in the past.
Yeah.
And we recommend that you take a look at that whenever you can. I'm sure you know it already. But,
Sure.
but I think that leads us to a question that Wanda asked, and Wanda, you should ask that question again. I think it was a good question.
Oh, okay. Yes, I asked, based on Angel Tavares, we supported him to be where he's at now. Now we can't even get an interview from him. He's not answering us, he's not talking to us, he's not supporting us as we support him. What can you assure us? What examples do you have? What is your strength that we can go by and say, well, Mary Kay is gonna follow through? What is it that you can tell us based on your past experience or any strength that you have that you can tell us and we can feel comfortable saying, okay, we should go with Mary Kay?
Well, one of the things I can tell you as far as leveraging the playing field is that I am a type of person that will definitely push. I won't, your voice becomes my voice. If it's the idea of you getting an interview with him, it's my responsibility, if I'm on the inside and I have that connection, is to push him into a decision to have that interview. We are not supposed to be locked out of the city hall. And I think for me, it's been like years, many years, that we actually have really been pushed out of that whole system. Decisions are being made. We don't have anything to say about it. People are being, flim-flammed. We don't know until last minute. And then when you get at the end of a struggle or the end of it, you really don't have a chance to. You just be, just running and moving for no reason. I will do all I can, not only to work with other city councils, but also with the mayor, to make sure that they understand that they are representing the people. What I would do, I would lead by example, representing the people, listening to the people, understanding that the interests of the people really matters, not making decisions in a back room or closed decisions where you're not well informed. You have to be informed in order to make a decision about whether Mary Kay made the right decision or not. So being connected to the people is very important.
Angel Rivera actually do a lot of things that is hurt the community. And one of the things that's coming in my head, I've listened to you about, you say more of boys and girls, is after school, he closed it. And he closed a lot of school too. So what do you think? What is your best idea to motivate the community individually?
Again, a lot of those schools were closed without the community being informed of the fact. Again, we got at the back end of those struggles. I don't want to see any more schools closed. I don't want to see any more schools closed. Anything that is devastating our community more than anything is the fact that our children, which is our future, who's gonna rule this world one day, is being put in a position that they are, you know what I mean, they're struggling as well as us as workers, you know, they're struggling too. So what I would do is, number one, make a fuss about it, for number one, you know, bring the people in right from the very beginning, not at the end. When I know about something that's gonna devastate us as a people, I will sound the bell. That's if nothing else, I sound the bell. And the people who need to be at the table needs to hear what's going on. Because you won't know, because the doors are shut there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And with those doors being shut, and you have absolutely no idea what's going on in that process, of course, you know, things hurt the community. I am a fighter. I have to reiterate that I am a fighter, and I will continue to fight. I am going in this because people matter to me, and it always have been a part of my life that has been very productive and very, you know, it has kept me well, it has kept me whole, because everybody on this earth have a goal and have something that they are supposed to do, or they call it a calling, and I believe mine is the people. So, yeah.
That's a good segue into my next question, is that, you know, you said that you will support us and you're a fighter, but your opponent, David Sanchez, is also a supporter of ours. He's actually supported us on many of our causes. Why should we support you over David? What's the difference?
In our styles?
So why, or why should we support you or stay neutral?
Well, I think you should support me, because I've proven, I did not come to this table today as a newcomer on the block. I've always been here with you. I've always watched on the picket lines. I've always advocated as hard as I possibly could for the workers. I've been there from the very beginning. It's not like I'm coming to the table because, you know what, I wasn't even thinking about running for city council, but I knew from the very beginning that I needed to work to fight for workers, fight for workers' rights, fight for the rights of people. You know what I mean? I've always supported unions. Myself, I was a welder at one time in my life. And what's great about today's generation of workers now is that even as women, you're allowed to be in the union. I was not at the time when I became a welder to be, and I would have probably continued to weld because I really liked welding, you know. But again, I had no protection. I had no one to protect me or advocate on the behalf that I needed to raise, you know. And I worked just as hard as any of the men, but I didn't get that opportunity.
The majority of our union across the country.
Sure.
So I mean, times
sure,
really
time
changed.
has really changed, and
So
that's
bizarre
why.
to me that you said.
Absolutely, time have changed, and with that, I push very hard, you know, because being a woman myself and being left out of that, I push very hard, and I will fight very hard for unions to exist. I've educated around why unions even exist, where they came about, how without unions we would be working still until the midnight hours, you know, from sun up to sundown, you know, without the 8-hour struggle.
If you're elected on your agenda, what's your priority?
My priority is to try to fight and push for jobs. I think one of the things, and ask me how would I do that from a city level, I would look for federal grants, I would look for any type of grants or anything that would bring jobs into the city. I would advocate for that. I would also try as hard as I possibly could to make sure that the schools itself will not be closed. I would try as hard as I possibly could to fight for the rights of other people. I know that one of the things that 217 have right now is the struggle around the minimum wage. I believe going into that, I would be able to educate other city council members why it's important to have this minimum wage. What does it mean? And as a person myself, like I told you from the very beginning, that being a worker myself and a low-wage worker, how important it is for families to survive, you know?
So you would support our efforts for the $15?
Oh, absolutely. I've testified, I've stood in, you know, like I said, I've marched around at the Renaissance and, you know, other hotels where, and this is way before I even thought of being a city council. Again, I have to really realize that. I did not come to the table, you know, on a new issue. You know, I've always been a fighter for the workers. So with that, you know,
Yo siento que soy una peleadora,
and different,
pero
my style different from, my, opponent
mi
and,
estilo es
incumbent
diferente de
is the fact
que yo
that
estoy yendo con
I don't mind agitating, working with people, going the extra mile. I don't take anything personal. Like, you know, I know there's a lot of pushback because we have people that don't think like we do in our community, that don't have the same initiative that we have in our community. But I don't mind sitting at the table demanding that they take a minute to listen to what we believe in. You know, I will not take anything personal. I will fight not for me, but for the people, the voice of the people.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So,
Yes, for the people. That's it. It's nothing for me. I don't have anything in the deal except a passion to keep fighting to the day I die.
para seguir peleando.
both those guys were.
Okay,
Oh.
so these folks have a question here.
Sure.
Está bien, yo. ¿Apoyaría usted a Carmen Castillo en su campaña?
He said, will you understand?
Yes, I understood. Will I support Carmen still? Yeah. Carmen and I have always had a relationship, you know, way before she even got into city council. I understand that there is some murky stuff that have happened with people that I've been connected with. However, let's get over it. If I do not win in this election, I will still support whoever the person is that wins. There should never be, again, it goes back to the people, not something that you personalize and you carry, you know, within yourself. I will support Carmen. I will work wherever her strengths are. I would try to gain from that. Wherever her weakness is, I'll try to build that up as well, because that's how we do it, you know? We work on each other's strengths and weaknesses in order to move things forward. Yes, I will. Thank you for asking.
So, I just want to follow up on that, sorry, before you. So what are you saying, Mary Kay, that you'll publicly endorse Carmen in her race?
Yes, yes, I will.
Just
No problem.
Yo quiero hacer una pregunta muy clave y creo que muy necesaria que las escuchemos todos los que estamos aquí.
I just want to ask something that's very important and it's very essential and necessary to everything we're talking about.
Hace unas semanas atrás los organizadores de Unite Here tuvimos una experiencia muy decepcionante de parte de las autoridades de la ciudad.
So, just a couple weeks past, all of us in this room, the key leaders of Unite Here 217, had an experience that was very deceptive in our experience with the powers that be.
Y es que a pesar de todo el esfuerzo que hicimos, lucha, piquetes, huelga de hambre, etcétera, etcétera, no tuvimos el apoyo de el City Hall de la ciudad. De su gran mayoría votó a favor nuestro por la campaña del mínimo wage.
So, after all of the struggle that we've done through picket lines, demonstrations, packing City Hall, hunger strikes, it appeared that we had support at City Hall when they voted to put the minimum wage on the ballot.
Pero nos jugaron la cuca la mácara, como decimos en Santo Domingo. Nos jugaron chueco. ¿Sí? Se lo digo así mismo, nos jugaron muy chueco. Porque en sí, lo que nosotros necesitábamos era que la gran mayoría del cuerpo de representantes de State House nos apoyara junto con el gobernador, más fue en vano. No sirvió de nada que el City Hall nos apoyara si ellos dijeron no. Ahora mi pregunta es,
So she said, but then basically all of the traders at the State House
Sure.
played with us.
Sure.
And so it's clear that we need support in the body of the State House as well as the City.
Sure.
mi pregunta es, ¿qué harían ustedes, los City Council? No importa la cantidad que sean, ¿qué harían ustedes para evitar que eso suceda? Cuando hagamos otra vez otra campaña, otro intento de nuevo por el minimum wage.
She said, so what would you do to prevent this from happening again, where you may or may not, where you may support us at City Hall, but then the rest of the state, stomps on us?
Well, I, as well as you, was like devastated with the decision that was made at the State House. what's sad about that is that they spend lots and lots of money with lobbyists who lobby the legislation, who has no idea what struggling working class people are going through, right? I can't tell you that those things don't happen, but I can tell you that as long as people keep rising up and pushing back, there's no control over that. You know, we have to continue to push forward. I mean,
Would you speak out against it publicly?
sure, absolutely, because it was wrong. It was definitely wrong.
Because I think one thing that was lacking in that was that nobody from any of the cities came out against it.
Sure, absolutely,
So you would do
absolutely,
that, right?
absolutely, because I seen the wrong in it. I seen the wrong in it, and I seen how it was manipulated, like she said, you know. All the work that was put in, you know, by the people, and the people had gotten to a point where there was, you know, a final destination, and then again, this is the powers to be, which is basically with money. They, you know, that's a class struggle right there. That is not something that, you know, they understand families that are struggling to pay rent or pay bills or, you know, or put their child in daycare. They have absolutely no idea, no concept, you know. So those are the powers to be that work against it. You're absolutely right. I think that's the best way to handle it. Is like we don't want to tolerate this as a people.
Alright, so one last question.
Sure.
You're out of the hot seat.
What is your plan to win the election?
Oh, my plan to win the election. Talk to as many people as possible. That's why I thank you today, you know, no matter what, you know people that know people that know people that know people, especially in Ward 11. My plan is to talk, stick with the people, understand what the people's needs are, understand what the people want me to do once I'm there. Because once I'm there, you know, and understanding what the people want from me, it's easier to work that way than to work opposite. Wait for people to come want it, you know what I'm saying? So my platform I have not built because I know what I want, I know what I'm interested in, but however, that's not the people who've been able to give me what they need me to do once I'm there. So my plan is to work as hard as I can to understand the community and understand the needs of people. And I've been doing knocking like crazy, that's why I'm a little darker than my shade here. So,
How many votes you need to win?
I don't want to be careless about this. I want to look at myself as really, really behind. I want to look at myself as if I got 600 votes, I would be really comfortable with that. I don't want to look at myself as winning with a certain number, but I want to overstep, you know. I just turned in my endorsement. I didn't want to just have 50, you know, signatures. I really want more because Friday is really the deadline. So I'm like, no, bring me more people who are endorsing it. Because I plan on working hard. I'm not, you know, it's really, I'm serious. It's not for anything that, like I said, I have a beautiful family, I have a wonderful family, but I'm not done. I'm not done fighting for the people. I'm not done advocating for the people. So I want to work hard.
Thank you. That's everything.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you.